It's installed.
Yeah. Wander Wiseley. Pad Overland. Let's ride. Built not bought, talk them walk, still don't quit. Wheels don't flop, lift it up, lock it in, hit the dirt, let it spin. Work all week, trail all day, point that rig, find your way.
What is up, Wanderers? Welcome to day 5. We made it to Pad Overland, as you can see. We got the EKKO here. Joel is here and is going to throw on some sway bars, front and rear. And he's going to do an oil change for me because it's due. The very first oil change, I might add. And my check engine light just came on, so they're going to diagnose that, figure that out, and make that disappear. And my SRS light has been on ever since I had my sound system upgraded, because I guess when they put the box under the passenger seat, they always trip the SRS. So we got to reset that airbag light. So by the time I leave here in 2 days, I'll have new sway bars, new oil, and no lights on my dashboard. That's what I'm looking forward to. Maybe we can get some video of the sway bar installation. Ooh. All right, Wanderers, Oki is up on the rack, as you can see. Let's get our sway bars installed. Let's see how dirty it is under there. What is up, Wanderers? We got Joel here from Pad Overland, and he's going to tell us all about sway bar installation.
So sway bar is, in my opinion, one of the forgotten components of suspension when it comes to a large vehicle. Whether it's an F550, 450, Ram 5500, or an F350 that's overloaded. We want bigger shocks. We want bigger and heavier leaf springs with more leaves in them. That third addition to that suspension component is a sway bar that's really going to help a lot. So what we're doing here is we're going to remove the factory sway bar off of this Sprinter EKKO. It probably weighs, John, 10,600 pounds, I think, fresh off the showroom floor, right?
About right.
Something somewhere in there. And then you guys add all your gear to it. We're getting really close to 11,000, probably even more than that. So it's not just the weight itself, but where is that weight? The weight is wide and it's tall, and so you kind of start getting this teeter-totter effect. I know a lot of you that first purchased your EKKO and you drove it home, you're like, wow, this seems like I'm getting pushed around by the wind a lot. Maybe you're driving by that semi-truck, or the semi-truck is passing you. Maybe you got a few windy roads. Maybe you're entering a state road or a county road and you're accelerating while turning a 90-degree turn, and you're getting that outside lean. So this sway bar is really gonna help that a lot. So we're not stiffening up that shock at all, that suspension at all. Not to say that these couldn't use a shock upgrade or a leaf spring upgrade, they definitely can. But the bang for the buck, an economically priced suspension upgrade that's really going to make that journey that you're traveling a lot more enjoyable. Less lean, less holding onto the steering wheel, less on the Sprinter at least. That crosswinds assist light coming on that Sprinter, that's trying to use the brake system to slow you down to make it not so wobbly. So this is the sway bar here, slightly larger in diameter. It has our olive drab green bushings. We went higher geometer on the bushings there to hold that sway bar firmly to the axle. And then we converted the connection point from a single shear bolt that you'll see here in a minute to a dual shear bolt. That makes this connection a lot stronger. And then depending on if you have a suspension lift or not, you're either gonna get the shorter link or a 2.5 inch longer link. It's a very simple system that's gonna help improve that ride quality. Later in this video, we're gonna show you an auxiliary front sway bar. So now we'll have 2 front sway bars in the front. That's gonna really help.
You asked, we delivered. Now we have memberships. You can join Wander Wiseley and be a part of our adventure. You can be a weekender, a boondocker, or a wanderer. Each level has different benefits, some of which are seeing our videos early, getting merchandise, or just following along for the adventure. So join, and don't forget to get your Sprecko merchandise at the Sprecko shop. Show your pride, represent your vehicle, and support Wander Wiseley. We love you.
If you're mechanically inclined at all, you can do this. So the hardware here, you're gonna take it off. It's a Mercedes, so they're metric, right? So an 18mm wrench and an 18mm socket. We like to use impact guns because things go a lot faster that way. 18mm, 18, 18, 18, 18, and 18. All right, so everything is loose here. Now it's as simple as pulling this bolt out there. It's always easier with a friend, so that's it.
Wow.
The only thing that you're gonna reuse on this is these caps here. So that's all we're gonna use on that one, and you can kind of tell the difference here. Just, it's a slightly bigger 4140 chrome poly steel. Now you can see this single shear bolt here. We're going to this dual shear. So stronger connection point, higher durometer bushing. The hardware that comes with the sway bar, you're going to use here on this point here. This is the hardware here. These are 3/4 inch grade 8 bolts. These are what you're going to use here. You have washers, washer here. This gets connected. Bolt, washer, bolt, nut, nylock nut, grade 8 hardware. The kit comes with some Loctite, some red Loctite. Going to put a dab on your hardware, holding the cap to the axle as well. Dab here. That gets tightened down. Comes with instructions. It comes with the bolt torque on how to do and what and why. Kind of a diagram of everything. Color pictures, very important. No pop-ups though. This is called Aqua Lube. Now, what I do is pop this cap off, take your finger, put it on the inside of this cap here to lubricate. That's standard when using a polyurethane bushing. And then those just open it up. Those go here, and then you're gonna take your cap and slide it on top and tighten it down. It's really that simple. We have them in stock, ready to ship. The front auxiliary sway bar is a little bit different. We had to create a plate to mount the sway bar to. There's less components to mount on there, but John will tell you all about the added support and improved driving experience when these things are installed. So watch for that. So we're going to be wandering a little bit more wiser.
Build not bought, talk them walk, still don't quit. Wheels don't flop, lift it up, lock it in, hit the dirt, let it spin. Work all week, trail all day, point that rig, find your way. No fake flex, no showroom shine. Built to roam, built to climb. Pad Overland, built to roam, take that trail, take it home. Pad Overland, stand up tall when the road is, we go crawl.
It's installed, you know. Bolts torqued down here, caps, you can see the Aqua Lube in here. This does pivot, right, up and down as your suspension goes up and down, but it's not making it any stiffer up and down at all. It's just controlling side to side. If we wanted a little bit better ride quality, John, then we would replace these shocks. Here, I'm gonna put my hands around the shock all the way and touch my fingers. So it's 1.75 inches in diameter across that shock. So it's a very A-OK-ish shock from Mercedes, right? They build a cabin chassis. They don't know who's gonna buy it. Winnebago buys it and they put a wide, tall, heavy box on it. Yeah. So really for the weight and the size, the shock is undersized, right? So to get a better ride quality up and down, larger body shock, whether it, there's a lot of options out there. Fox and Falcon, and Radflow, and a lot of shock options. We can go over those another time, but larger body shock, bigger valves, different fluids, different nitrogen levels, whether you can adjust the dampening on it or not, or it's just tuned for the weight, that's that. And then your leaf springs are carrying a heavy load, so if we wanted to get a little bit more ground clearance, and then to help carry the load and everything, we would go with a heavier duty leaf spring. There's a lot of options out there as well. But the focus today is the sway bar and getting an economically priced suspension upgrade without breaking the bank. Like you don't have to cut really any corners financially to get this installed. So it's really that simple. Out with the old, in with the new, and increase your driving experience. And John, you're really gonna notice those when you pull out of here. This is Highway 30 in Scappoose, Oregon. People drive by through here at about 65 miles per hour. So when you leave here, you're going to accelerate while turning south or north, and this is gonna feel a big reduction in that sway left and right. So that's gonna be the big one. And now we're gonna throw on the front auxiliary sway bar. All right, so this is the front auxiliary sway bar, the Pad Overland front auxiliary sway bar. This time I don't have a sway bar that we're taking off to compare it to, but we are keeping the factory auxiliary sway bar on there, or excuse me, we're leaving the factory front sway bar on there, which is mounted in the back here. And here's the sway bar here. There's the end link, and it wraps kind of underneath this front differential here. Right there. All right, so as far as removing it and putting in a large one is very difficult. So with the way that these sprinters are made with their kind of boxed frame and how they do their subframes, it doesn't give us a lot of heavy duty components to mount the front sway bar to. So this plate goes on here on the front and kind of does a couple things. It gives us a place to mount the front sway bar, but then also acts as a skid plate for your rack and pinion steering gear. Now this is an electronically controlled rack and pinion, so kind of an expensive piece. Be really nice to make sure that this is doesn't hit anything. So this plate attaches here, and we got all the hardware for it here. With that, here's the front auxiliary sway bar. That now mounts to that frame there, just right out there in front. And these ones, we have our sway bar bushings mount to that plate, and then end link that would mount to these guys here, and end link there. I know that there's a big discussion on when you're talking about off-road rigs like Jeeps and Tacomas and Tundras. Does the sway bar have a quick disconnect to get your travel back? I would say if you're traveling with your Class C motorhome in a section like following your guys in their Jeeps, I'd maybe question why we're wanting to travel off-road to the point where we need to disconnect the sway bar end link. This isn't really for that. The big benefit of the auxiliary sway bar is for those highway roads, very capable off-road as well up to a point, but we're really trying to reduce that sway side to side, getting pushed around by wind and tight corners and the outside lean when turning. So that's the point of this sway bar. That's what we have. We have a Class C motorhome that weighs excess of 10,500 pounds, and we just want a better driving experience. So that's what the sway bar is made for. There's so many things inside this that are great. Your heads-up display, your MBUX system, your sound system. You did so many cool things with storage and your mattress and how it sleeps and everything like that. But those are all things you're using when it's sitting in one spot. Those are increasing your living conditions. But John drives all over the U.S. as many of you do, and you don't want to get out of this thing really uncomfortable. Your muscles hurt because you've been holding on to that steering wheel for so long, and you feel like you need to stop until the wind dies down. So, like I said, economically priced suspension upgrade is a great option to start with.
Guys, she's all done. She's good to go. Sway bars. I took it out for a test ride with Joel, and it's amazing. And look at this guy, parked right next to the Pad Overland EKKO. This thing's a beast also.